It's story time. On the count of 3, let's say the story bag poem and see what's inside. 1, 2, 3. Story bag, what have you to say? Story bag, what's in you today? We have a spider. This is a story from the Ashanti people of West Africa. The name of the story is Anansi Brings Stories to the World. Story ears open, story mouths quiet, story buckles buckle, and let us begin. Once upon a time, long ago, there were no stories in the world. No stories to listen to, no stories to tell or to learn from, no stories to laugh with, because all the stories were in heaven. Naima the sky god kept all the stories in a golden box by his throne. Anansi the little Spider-Man decided he wanted to buy the stories and bring them to the world because he knew everyone needed stories. Anansi cast a great web all the way to heaven and climbed up and presented himself to Naima the sky god and asked if he could buy the stories. Naima was very amused at seeing this little Spider-Man, and he laughed. You want to buy my stories? I don't think you will be able to pay my price, but you may try. You must bring me 3 things. First, you must bring me the leopard with teeth as sharp as spears. Second, you must bring me the hornets that sting like fire. And third, you must bring me the Queen of the Fairies. If you bring me these 3 things, Anansi, you may have my stories. Anansi climbed back to the earth and went to the jungle where the leopard with teeth as sharp as spears lived. But it was the leopard who found Anansi. Anansi, you are just in time to be my lunch. Hello, leopard, answered Anansi. Before you eat me, would you like to play a game? Anansi knew that leopards, like all cats, love to play games. He cut a length of vine and said this is a game called Quickly Tie. First, I will quickly tie your paws together while you count. Then, I will untie you and you will quickly tie my hands and feet together while I count. And whoever's the fastest wins. Now, Leopard liked the sound of this game because he planned to eat Anansi once he had him tied up. So Anansi began, and he bound Leopard's paws together. And Leopard said, "That was very fast, Anansi. Now you can let me go and I can have my turn." Anansi smiled and said, "I don't think so. I'm going to leave you tied right here until I can take you up to Naima the sky god and buy his stories. 1 down, 2 to go." Next, Anansi had to find the hornets that stung like fire. He took his drum down to the river and filled it with water. Then he went to the hornet's nest. He poured water all over the hornet's nest and said, "Hornets, it's raining, and the rain will tear your delicate wings to tatters. Quick, fly into my drum, where you will stay nice and dry." The hornets flew into the drum, and quick as a flash, Anansi covered the top. The hornet said, "It has stopped raining now, Anansi. You can let us go." Anansi smiled and said, "I don't think so. I'm going to leave you right here in my drum until I can take you up to Naima the sky god and buy his stories. 2 down, 1 to go." Next, Anansi had to find the Queen of the Fairies. How was he going to do that? He remembered that the fairies loved to eat sweet potatoes. Anansi made a nice big bowl of sweet potatoes and put them by the tree where the fairies liked to dance. Then Anansi made a goofy little doll and covered the doll with sticky wicky ooey gooey gum from the gum tree. Anansi put the doll by the sweet potatoes and hid behind a tree and waited. Pretty soon the Queen of the Fairies fluttered by and saw the sweet potatoes and asked, "Little doll baby, may I have some of those sweet potatoes, please?" Anansi answered and said, "Yes, you may." The Fairy Queen picked up the sweet potatoes and started to eat. "These are delicious. Thank you so much, little doll baby." But the doll baby didn't answer. "Little doll baby, when someone says thank you, you're supposed to say, 'You're welcome.' Now let's try that again." Thank you, little doll baby," said the Fairy Queen. But the doll baby didn't say anything. "Little doll baby, you better say you're welcome or I'm going to smack you." "Now let's try that again. Thank you, little doll baby." The doll baby didn't respond, and the Fairy Queen got so angry she smacked the little doll baby, and she got stuck in the sticky wicky ooey gooey gum. Anansi stepped out from behind the tree, picked up the doll baby with the fairy stuck fast, and put her with the others. Then he cast a great web around all three and carried them up to heaven. He presented them to Naima the sky god, who was very amused indeed. "Anansi, you have brought me what I asked, and now you may have my stories. But these will no longer be my stories, they will be Anansi's stories." Anansi took the beautiful box and started climbing back down to the earth. But when he was still way up in the clouds, he opened up the box and he threw the stories to the wind. They blew north, east, south, and west, and the people caught them and told them again and again and again. And that is how stories first came to the world. And there be my story, be it bitter or sweet. Take what you like, but leave enough for me to eat.